Yeah, big welcome to you, my dear Gemini. The Sun in Aquarius. It just moved yesterday, and also Pluto has moved into Aquarius. And so we're getting a very strong energy here through Uranus, right? Uranus leads Aquarius. Uranus is the new beginning, is the changes. And so now Aquarius is giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign, and you are led through Mercury. Mercury is your planet, is the language, is the mind, right, that understands everything. But what's happening now is that Aquarius and Uranus and Pluto here, it's almost like Aquarius is getting two guests, right? And the guests are Uranus and Pluto, and in that there might be quite some intensity happening, and that light is now hitting your subconscious, right? The moon is then the feelings that rises out of the subconscious, and this can be quite a very interesting combination because you are led by Mercury, and Mercury is of course here the language and the mind. So we are seeing here two air signs coming together, the King of Swords and the Knight of Swords, right? And so they're of course different. One is more young and one is more established and really like a father figure. In the yoga position, I have for Aquarius the side plank, the star that we become here on earth ourselves. And for you, I gave you a king pigeon pose, and it's the reaching back into the feet, the opening up your arms, because the arms are your body parts and your arms come out of the heart. And so whatever you do, whatever you holding, hold it with love, right? Hold this wand with the star at the end with love. And so this is kind of like a very beautiful message already. You are the Knight of Swords, running and wanting really quickly understand the things that the new age now is bringing, right? And of course you are the third house of communication and interaction, and you are Gemini, the communicative one, right? The one that talks a lot. But when you are settling into your heart, right, you will always say the right things. Is your birthday between May 10th and June 9th? Then is this your court card? If not, look in the description below. I have listed all the cards that I'm using there, and you can have a look also at all the cards at their position that I'm using today. Back to the last reading where Capricorn Sun gave Gemini Moon the light. The message was 5 times 4, you are ready to lead yourself back to your soul self. So the yourself leads you back to the soul self, and we see here that the emotional success was actually your destiny, right? Was the Wheel of Fortune, and the 3 of Pentacles is the sign that you want to build something that you cannot build all by yourself, so you need help. We are reading to the left. We are going now after you had your full moon in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is the Wheel of Fortune, and in the Wheel of Fortune we show how big we can become, but Capricorn is actually connected with Saturn, and Saturn is of course the teacher. And so now we're going to your new moon, we're going to your month where you have your new moon. Now, since we are working with Uranus this month, right, I have the Visconti Sforza Tarot that I'm usually using always on the position of the Fool. But right now I even have an older version of the Visconti Sforza Tarot, and it's the Gary Yale Visconti Tarot deck. And it's really interesting because this deck is really, really powerful, because all the court cards in this deck have a masculine and a feminine personality. And it's really interesting. In the Visconti Sforza Tarot, we don't have that, right? And so these cards were recreated. There are more new, and now the ones that we are picking now for Uranus, not for the Fool, but Uranus per se, right, as the planet that is ruling, of course, star, right, the ruling the Aquarius. We are picking now a card that is really old. You're gonna see. And you can see how these cards are photographed. And so the Hanged Man is coming. And the Hanged Man is connected with Neptune, and Neptune is ruling our dreams and our mind. And so Uranus, the beginning, the new cycle that is appearing now, is bringing you the information. Let yourself be hanged upside down. Let go of the things that don't make sense anymore. So the 12 here is the 1 and the 2, is the Magician and the High Priestess. Calculated together we get the 3, we get the Empress. And so the 3 is talking here because Uranus, the outer planet of a generation, and Pluto as well, are talking here now that we are needing to come to an enlightenment, come to the inversion. And I love inversions. For me, inversions make me clear, make me realize how important it is to have a healthy way to live. And this is what's coming here, right, through Uranus, which is of course then leading the star, right? And the star now gets you the Hanged Man. And on the position of the Fool, right, I have here the King of Wands. And so we can see that the Fool is saying, well, when you let yourself fall, you fall upside down into the Hanged Man. And so the King of Wands is the opposite energy of the star. The star gets its light from Leo, right, for his full moon. And so now on Thursday we have Leo full moon, and Aquarius is going to give the light to Leo. And so the King of Wands is coming. And it's almost like saying, yes, also you, that is an air sign, and the Knight of Swords, you are getting the information that this is important right now, that you are becoming more passionate, that you're becoming more active in what you do, but also allow now the enlightenment to come towards you, to allow to do things in a way that no one expects you to do them, right? And so he is the 5th zodiac sign, and 5 and 3 in the end is the 8, and the 8 is then here the 17 that becomes an 8 as well, right? An 8-8 portal. Know that the 8 is the infinite strength coming from Leo, the strength to also hang yourself upside down, right? Once in your life, do that. Just hang upside down. Because we see here the leg position of the Wheel of Fortune of Jupiter, right? And so when I turn it around, right, that's what we see in Jupiter's sign. And so there is a calling, there is a higher calling that is letting you know, well, now it's time for you to actually recognize how these planets above us are guiding us. Then on the position of the Magician comes the Owl, and the Owl is the 39. So we have the Empress and the Hermit here, and then calculated together we get the 12, and the 12 is then a 12-12, framing the 5, and the 3-3 when we calculate the 12 together. And the 33 is a degree of mastery that we have achieved. And that mastery is saying, well, the 33 degrees of the secret brotherhoods is letting you know that now comes a time of we are celebrating, because the full moon in Leo is happening right on Thursday. And I think you're going to feel that. You're going to feel there is a message coming, because then plus the 1 of the Magician, we get the 40. So the 4, the Emperor, is then here letting you know you are powerful, you are strong. And I wanted to see what message the Owl brings, and you get the Son of Wands, which is Sagittarius reversed. And Sagittarius is quite a flamboyant personality, also a knight, not a king, right? This is then the same story here. The Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. Meanwhile, here we have the King of Swords and the Knight of Swords, right? With Aquarius and you. So here the position that he is in, right? It's reverse. You see how he's preparing a dance for his tribe, but it's reverse, and I think he's afraid of bringing that dance to the people. And so the 9th zodiac sign, right? We have the 4 here all together. The 4 and the 9 is the 13, and 13 is Scorpio, is the transformation, is Pluto. And Pluto will bring something to you that you can actually transform, that you can maybe redefine the way you work, because Sagittarius is connected with Jupiter, and Jupiter is that grandeur. How grand can you make yourself by dancing to others, and for some reason you're not there yet, right? And that's the information that comes directly through Mercury, which is the language. And so I can feel that the language here is telling you the story of be brave, right? Recognize the Owl is coming and helping you to actually be strong enough to bring this dance out into the world. Then on the position of the High Priestess, we get the Ace of Cups. And so the 2 and the 1 creates a 3, the Empress. Then you have 3 times the 3, right? You had the Hanged Man here, you had the 12, and you also had the 12, and you also had the 12 with the Owl, right? When we calculated it together, and then the 3-3. So here we get again a 3 times 3. Feel empowered through this beautiful love, right? The cup, the Lord of the Root of the powers of water. I mean, what a title, right? And so you've been handed the cup of love. You've been handed in your intuition the sign that the one and only energy that you need is self-love, is, right, what you all are about, love. and more love, and just love, right? Love yourself. And so it's very clear what's talking here to you. Then on the position of the Empress comes here the Fool, and the Fool is 0. We have the 3 and the 0 then left, so you have now 4 times the 3, and 4 times is the heart. 4 is the love that is handed to you here, and it's handed to you from your soul, right? And so recognize that you are beginning to understand what's happening above you, right? A lot of people are not really into astrology, right? They're a little bit like, oh, so why should that influence me, right? But I understand some people, they just don't have that connection, and it's okay. And the Empress is connected with Venus, and Venus is now bringing you a new beginning in beauty, in love, and also in the financial, because he's walking literally into the cup, right? He is literally saying, yes, I am taking that step into the Ace of Cup. Then on the position of Gemini comes the 6 of Wands, which is of course now connected Jupiter in Leo, and you had Leo here on the position of the Fool, right? And Leo is saying, well, now put your arms up, now show yourself, now show what you couldn't show here, right? Because in the reverse, and Jupiter in Leo is saying, but you can show yourself, and now you get a 6-6 portal. And so this is really beautiful, right? You are recognizing something, you realized something has shifted in you, and so now you're able to say, okay, I'm going to put my arms up and I'm going to show myself. I'm going to dance, right? I'm going to take that step, you know, forward and make myself big, right? Jupiter, make yourself big. And so it's a very beautiful message. On the position of the Knight of Swords, in the center of the reading, comes the 7 of Cups. Now the 7 of Cups is Venus in Scorpio, and Venus, of course, brought you through the Empress, the Fool, a new beginning, a new crazy idea that you are following, because he walks into the Ace. And so now you have 8 Cups, and 8 Cups is Saturn in Pisces, right? And Saturn in Pisces means that you are walking away, but first you realizing everything is an illusion, right? That Venus in Scorpio is like, okay, maybe all that new beginning is not as easy as I thought, but now I'm gonna like think about what else can I do in the world, how much can I make myself big, right? And so the 3 and the 7 is a 10, and the 10 is a new cycle, is letting you know the Jupiter energy is here, letting you know that the Wheel of Fortune is spinning, right? And the Wheel of Fortune is saying, well, take it to the next level. Don't think, right? Because this is Jupiter here through Sagittarius. Don't think, just do. And don't think about which cup is the best cup, right? Let all these cups be just cups, right? And so I guess you get the message. Then on the position of the Star and Aquarius, you get the Hierophant, the Taurus energy. Taurus here is grounding you, is earthing you, and is actually reading to you the stories, important stories. And so the 17 turns into an 8, and the 8 and the 5 is the 13. So again, you have deep, deep within you an understanding that something here is coming to an end, right? Because you had the 13 already. And something is really coming to an end in the sense of learning and standing up for yourself, learning that you have really now understood something, and that this is the sign, right, that you are now through Taurus learning to listen to how astrology is actually affecting us, but also here the tarot, that the tarot is based on astrology, right? So I have to include it, because for me it's like, if I don't do it, then it's like something is missing. And so you're finding your way now, right? You're finding your way through the illusion into more of a substantial 5 sense kind of energy. Then on the position of the moon comes the closing door, the number 5. And so there's a 5-5 portal. And I think this, what you're learning here, is closing a door for you, is closing something that is ending and the completion. And in that moment where you're really diving deep down, right, the 18 becomes the 9 here. And the 9 and the 5 is the 14, the temperance. And temperance is connected with the Sun of Wands, right, with Sagittarius, that is dancing here and showing who he is and showing his fun side, right? It's almost like maybe you haven't been showing your fun side for a while, and now it's time for you to do that. And I wanted to see, why is the door closing? And here comes the last judgment, and the last judgment is connected with Pluto, and Pluto has now the opportunity to go into a hanged mode, hanged man mode, right? And so here, since it's reverse, it's saying, well, things are still working, right? That's why the door is still a little open, and you see now, are you going into the light or are you going into the dark? And in a way, you're going into the dark, right? Because that's what Sagittarius is bringing to you. Sagittarius is opposite of you. That's when you had your full moon. Sagittarius gives you the light for the full moon, and now that light is diminishing, that light is ending. You're going more and more to your new moon, and it's difficult, right? Because going to the new moon means to go into the dark. And I think that's why actually this is also reversed, because usually the light comes down, the light comes out of the door, and we see there is this bright energy behind this door, and there's this beautiful light coming down from the Ankh, which is Venus itself, right? But it's reverse, and it's like the door is closing, and it's saying, yes, you got to go deeper again. You got to go deep. You got to go deep down into yourself. And it's almost like saying, yes, this is what's letting you know that the 20 and the 5 is the 25. 25 is the 7. The 9 and the 7 is the 16, the Tower. Things are leaving, things are ending, things are letting you know it's time to end whatever it is that you now need to end, right? And so we see that then the 16 becomes the 7 again. And the 7 is the crown chakra, is that moment of, yes, I can do it. I can do it, because now on the position of the Sun, you get here a 7, right? So you get a 7-7 portal to the closing door and all the other stories, right? And the last judgment. And here's the darkness, the moon, the new moon, exactly. So the Sun is the center of our solar system, and everything else is spinning around, right? The Sun is always there. The Sun is saying, well, I'm the 19, which becomes a 10. I am putting my arms up the same way you put your arms up here, right? You showed the world how big you can make yourself. Jupiter in Leo. I mean, that's just like show really your talent. But now the new moon is coming and the door is closing. You see that? Here is the little bit of light. And I wanted to see, so how does that feel to you? And it feels like the 9 of Swords. It feels like a nightmare. Sorry, but it's just the stars and the planets up above you that are indicating, yes, you will have a little bit of a nightmare. Not much, because the 9 is the completion. It's good. It's Mars in Gemini, right? So it's directly connected to you. And so the 10 and the 7 is the 17, is the star. Be the light yourself. Then you're not afraid anymore when the door closes. Then you're not afraid when the new moon comes. and the 17 becomes the 8, and then 8 plus 9 is the 17, is the star again. So the star here in your deck is telling you, you are the star. Connect with the star that you are. Hermann Hesse said each one has their own star above them, and so each one can become a star, because the sun is a dwarf star, telling you, don't be afraid. But if you're afraid, allow those bad thoughts or ideas or dreams to not push you, right, into a despair, into a depression. It's just part of the cyclical, right? When we've been in the light, of course it's like difficult to now go in the dark. It's like, we don't like that. But you get here the 9 of Cups on the position of the world, and that's Jupiter in Pisces. And Jupiter in Pisces is saying, well, you already had here the Ace of Cups, so you have 10 cups. 10 cups plus another 7 cups is 17 cups. Aquarius is letting you know everything is going to be okay. You don't have to be worried, right? The world is not falling apart. The world is now learning to come into the completion, into the 9, into being deep rooted in the subconscious also of the moon. Saturn, which is leading or ruling the world. Yes, the lessons and the boundaries are here, but 21 plus 9 is the 30, so you got another 3. So you have, I think, 5 or 6 times now the 3. I mean, how beautiful is that, right? You are really learning now to be empowered, because that's why the King of Wands is here and saying, get through this, right? I know it's difficult, but sometimes that's part of the cycle, because when we go deep down, that's when we find our true light. And the true light is coming through the Ace of Cups. The true light is coming through you also standing like Jupiter in Leo and being this glorious yourself, right? And seeing that, yes, sometimes here the 9-9 portal is here to help you. When we have a nightmare, maybe you have a nightmare of drowning or suffocating in this happiness, but actually in the end it's like you have found your own happiness and you don't have these nightmares anymore. It's over, right? And that's where the Hanged Man comes in, because he's diving into the ocean, right? He's diving into the Jupiter in Pisces, and Pisces is connected with Neptune, and Neptune are your dreams. So maybe you're just dreaming all of this, right? And in the end, you are actually realizing that you are totally happy just where you are. I hope I see you in the next reading. That's when we get then the Sun in Pisces. So Pisces is talking, right? Pisces is also talking to the Hanged Man. Pisces is also talking through the Ace of Cups. And so we can see Pisces is here. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.